Hey, welcome back to FurnaceClans. Wandering Kid here. How y'all been doing? I know got a lot more subscribers out there, particularly from the KSP series. I want to warn you now, KSP I leave PG-13. Dwarf Fortress gets blood on the walls, your skin sloughs off from diseases, hydras eat people. It's not so friendly. I actually curse in this series and things like that, so I just want to warn you ahead of time. So, I had some old material left over after 42, and I went through it, and it sucks. Everybody who's followed me for FurnaceClans in the past, you're familiar with me doing this. Anybody who's new, in case you're not familiar, Dwarf Fortress is more of a simulator than it is a game. So you can't always be sure interesting things occur. So it kind of updates when things show up. Alright, so without further ado, I think it's time for a State of the Fortress. I'm going to bring everybody who's been following FurnaceClans for ages. I'm going to go over the fortress from top to bottom, get everybody who's new up to date on the fortress. Down below, you should see a link to skip that, or if, you've forgotten to, I don't blame you. Alright, so, this fortress is based on the single pick challenge. I will save you 42 episodes of content, and basically tell you we dug into a tundra with nothing but a pick and 7 dwarves, and we've gotten to here, some ridiculous number of years later. I think we're at 65 years. Actually, there's a way to find out. There we go. We founded FurnaceClans in 753. It is currently 815. So 62 years ago, this fortress was established. The idea was to take the worst terrain possible, show up with a pick, and live. That obviously got really adventurous at the beginning. We are in an undead territory where anything that dies respawns as an undead creature. Now, for those not familiar with the undead rules in 3411, you can't pulp the undead. I know you can finally destroy them in the new version. This is not on the new version. The saves are incompatible. I'm finishing this off in 3411. Which means that you have to destroy it eventually with fire. You kill everything with fire. But that means hair, skin, bones, heads, hands, anything that can grasp. These things can res back up. To deal with that, I have built what we call the OMG, the Overfiend Magma Grinder. Hi, I'm the Overfiend. This thing is basically a giant minecart running around on impulse ramps, smacking into tons of undead and flinging them into the magma. Down below, we have tons of spikes on pits, connected to a pressure plate here, that stabs them to death if they fall in and don't die. The surface, at this point, is pretty well fortified. All the way around the border, over the course of, I think, I think it took about 6 years, actually, we eventually walled in the entire border of the surface, except for one area which we allow for trader access and invasion access. The goal of FurnaceClans is to become the Mountainhome, which means I need to get the king here. That can't happen until I have a certain number of dwarves. I have 117. Memory serves, it's 140 dwarves. We're working up to it. Speaking of dwarves, I owed some people a few redwarfings. Edge Figaro 2, you're a miner again. Androcon the Second, where'd you end up at? There you are. You're military. I forget what skills you had. A Tomato Priest, you did get a Dwarf. You're getting my Engraver. So, let's see. What else do we need to talk about? The fortress. Okay, so this is our main living area. We have bedrooms all over the place. I use communal living areas in case I ever let in a zombie. We haven't seen migrants in probably 25 years, so that's kind of a moot point. Booze stockpile, food stockpiles, hospital wells come down here, big old crafting area, come down another one, storage pit, bowyer, things of that nature. I use a lot of quantum storage. Down here, over here on the side, we have adamantium strand crafting, and we're also working on creating bars for armor. Because we're fighting mostly undead, adamantium weapons are kind of pointless. You want bashing weapons, not cutting weapons, otherwise you end up with 3 undead for the one you killed. But these are all magma forges up here. We transported a whole bunch of magma up. The magma rail system is in episodes 9, 10, 11, and 8, 9, 10, and 11? Something like that. It's huge, it's expansive. Trying to go over it is worth episodes. Go watch them if you really care. It's large. It uses impulse elevators, it uses drop chutes, a whole number of different things. Up here we have our farms. Only the underground farms work. We're in a frozen area, so we can't have above ground farms. We also have soil. Well, this is soil. But up one layer we have sand, so we are able to make glass products. Over here we have, let's go up one, an airlocked trade depot, which actually, oh, I forgot to tell you guys, after 15 years we finally got some merchants in. The dry cleaning crew came in. We got rid of all that trashed clothing, finally off the map. Recovered some FPS by getting rid of all of that junk. It was the humans. They also sent a diplomat. Hopefully we'll stop being at war with them because the horses keep jamming up my OMG. But in the meanwhile, we actually need to close up the airlock. So let's close the outside door when I'm thinking about it. Okay. Other things in this fort. For those of you that don't remember, I have Sickle, the great silk maker. Oops, I need view. There's Sickle. Sickle is a one-eyed stonefly with a broad shell, but it casts webs. So we have a giant web collection agency up here. We have a leash here to put puppies onto. And then when the webs fall down here, we run in and we get lots and lots of silk thread. This system is automated for dropping and re-raising those bridges based on this repeater on the minecart system. What else is interesting that I can show you guys offhand? Oh, also up here is a obsidianizer for forgotten beasts if they get inside. We're still working on dealing with that. Some stuff down here fell apart, and we've got 1 or 2 forgotten beasts that are all up in our noise that we can't get rid of yet. Such as this guy over here. Oh no, that's Vukar. One of my dead dwarves. We have a massive tree farm underground that we use, and I've got minecarts in the middle to help with shipping things up. About once a year we come down here and trim down all the trees and bring them upstairs. Down here in the military, we have a series of military units. We also have civilian units, which basically just make sure that my civilians get armored up and they're given a crossbow and some bolts, and hopefully they can defend themselves. There are 2 units, the iron and copper arrows, which are my main crossbow bolt units. I have 2 pairs of Jedi. For those not used to the nickname, Jedi means that they have whips. Whips in Dwarf Fortress are a little broken. Basically, they take the weight of the item and the contact area and they shear things to pieces. When you're in trouble against ogres or something like that, which are just massive and difficult to kill, sometimes breaking them into pieces is worth making sure they die for at least a little while. I also have the Miners League and the Lumberjack Union, just to make sure that I don't accidentally put my miners or my lumberjacks into a military unit so I don't have to deal with uniform problems. Let's see, giant lever room. Ah yes, my adamantium dig. I'm still trying to figure out what was going on with the adamantium. As you can see, I have a series of channels being cut out. When I had carved this out last time, I wasn't being able to form stone blocks down on this level again. I don't know why. So what we're going to do is we're going to carve out some areas. We're going to drop some water down. We're going to see what happens and just rinse, repeat, and see how things go. Armor and weapon stores. Our armor and weapon stores are doing just fine. We got plenty of steel high boots, greaves, and gauntlets and things like that. Plenty of shields. Still got some silver and iron whips left over. I can probably put together another unit of Jedi. I am debating on whether we're going to do that or not. We'll probably do that before we crack the spire and go hit the happy fun stuff. But we'll take a look at that. I think that pretty much covers a state of the fortress. For anything interesting. Any of you guys know something odd, let me know. I don't see anything offhand that really should be expressed to newcomers. So that pretty much covers it. We use the OMG as our primary defense mechanism for most of the hordes and sieges that come in, simply because any other form of defense would have gotten us killed by the undead a long, long time ago. For those interested, the OMG basically has a stairway that goes up to the surface. If you follow this stairway, it comes to this entry point here. And right past it, as you can see, I've got some ramps going down. Come down here to our airlocked trading depot. That stairway leads down to here. And this has a relatively simple system. Let me zoom out a bit. One more time. There we go. So they come in here, they wander onto the minecart tracks, and if we go up a level, there's a crossover that brings them back down onto the other side before they start trying to come in over here. As you'll notice, there's a pressure plate with a trap door after it. Sometimes I get some forgotten beasts who come in here and break it, or trolls. Depends on whether they get through the OMG. I'm possibly going to create a minecart shotgun system here sometime, but we're not there yet. But alright, I'm getting distracted again. So when they hit here, and if they don't break the hatch, or when they eventually break the hatch, everything down in this lane reverses all the way back through the system and then wanders all the way over here and run into the same problem. So eventually they may break both hatches. And they have. Every now and then I get something that comes in here, breaks up the system, and I gotta go send the troops in to go clean up the problem. Usually I try and make sure that everything on the tracks, which is probably 90% of any invasion, is dead first. So what happens is the undead keep rising back up, the minecart keeps shoving them back in the magma. And then we go clean out the troll or three that are being a pain in the ass. So, that pretty much covers it. Over here we have a migrant entry. Basically I drop the doors here, and all of this is restricted entry, so they don't try and path through the OMG. They come down here and then they run into the fort through that method. I usually leave this closed up unless migrants or diplomats have come onto our map. Diplomats love to path through the OMG. So, that should pretty much cover the initial overview. Hey guys, those of you who've been watching for a while, tell me if there's anything I should probably cover for anybody new who's joined us. And, well, I'll see you when something interesting shows up. I know what I forgot to mention to you guys. Our cursed dust. We have a cursed dust cloud that pours through this area. It's not too dangerous, actually. It just causes serious nausea and vomiting. However, it has caused us significant issues, and actually, it's an FPS killer more than a dwarf killer. So this stuff gets everywhere, and these clouds are monstrous. One of the things I had done at one point was I tried roofing over a bunch of the surface, and we still have it there, just because there was no reason to take it apart. But I didn't bother with the rest of it. But this stuff is just absolutely brutal to us. So one of the things I had done, if I can find the right key press, there we go, is I have a waterfall system that cleans off my dwarves here. And I also have a dwarven bath up here that comes through from our surface area down, so none of this stuff gets into the fort anymore. For those curious, I actually had to punch this through an aquifer, and at one point I did a full cave-in system via a method described on the thread for this. Now, somebody had commented recently that you're not able to build walls in one high water anymore in the new 40 version. Can somebody confirm that for me when you get a chance? I have not downloaded and installed it yet, so I'm kind of curious about that. I'm wondering if that's a one-off or if that's a new model for having to do with aquifers and we just have to make all sorts of floodgates or something. So a lot of you may remember that I have basically a long-standing rule that I don't typically use cage traps because they're basically superpowered. However, down here at the adamantine pit, I've got a problem. And that's a couple of magma crabs who are just being significant pains in my butt. They're down here, somewhere around here. There we go, there's one of them. And there's another two down there, and they just keep chucking rocks at my blacksmiths. That's not so big a deal. I don't mind waiting for them to move off or migrate out. But if they come up into the fort, I don't want to be trying to hunt down magma crabs in the middle of things. Besides, magma crabs are really fun pillboxes. So I'm actually going to use some cage traps. I didn't use them up top. I'm not going to use them against a zombie horde. But just because these guys are annoying, I'm going to put some cage traps down near where we're building out the adamantine spire, and hopefully we can catch us some magma crabs. And we have given birth to another boy. How excellent. So let's go to citizens. And we actually hit 100 babies at one point. So we are up to 101. Maybe I should... you know what? I'll call him Dalmatian. He'll probably die for his skin, but hey, you know, little things. So we are breeding still. Hopefully we can get up to our 140. We've got Tomato Priest down here. He's just engraving away, trying to get to where he's masterwork, and can go engrave the king's new quarters for when he gets here. They're basically already built out. They're waiting for his arrival. So, just to end this episode of FurnaceClans, I just got a report that 057, my cook, has been missing for a week. That's not good. I'm not quite sure where we lost him. I have a battle report for him, but I see random reports here and there anyway. Not remembering offhand where Edge Figaro's corpse is, but I can't seem to find a reference other than for this dog skin. Now, if I go take a look for the corpse of Edge Figaro, he's down here, down in the Cavern 1. So I'm not too worried about that one. Not sure where 057 got off to. Let's see if I can find him in corpses. So, nothing in corpses. Didn't find anything in spare parts. Body parts. I don't see his remains, and I'm not quite sure where he could have gotten himself dead at. Well, I'm sure his corpse will come and find me here eventually. But meanwhile, I gotta go find myself a new cook. Let's see, chef is here. Oh, the cheesemaker. There's my cooks. Now, Juxtapose can go back to cooking, but I should grab somebody else too. So we'll make 055 our cook, because we've got a ton of children that can't, and I'm not sure I want to make anybody down here do that. Suppose I could give it to Fortunato. We'll put Fortunato on cook's duty too. So we'll go set up for some more foods, and we'll see how that goes. But I know this hasn't been the most interesting FurnaceClans episode, but it's just kind of getting me back into the feel for the game. I had to do a lot of exploration of the fort to remind myself everything that was going on with it after the hiatus I took from Christmas. So hopefully more of these will be forthcoming as things get interesting. We just hit winter, so we're not going to get the dwarven trade caravan in. Hopefully the humans send one next year and we can continue to ship stuff out of here. And we will continue trying to grow our fortress. So until next time, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.